Have you ever wondered why you can understand English so well, but speaking still feels impossible? You watch videos, you learn grammar, you remember many words, but when it is finally time to speak, your mind suddenly becomes quiet. The sentence disappears, fear appears, and little by little you start thinking maybe speaking English is just too difficult for you. But the truth is much simpler than that. The problem is not your intelligence, the problem is not your memory, and the problem is definitely not that you are bad at English. Most learners simply practice in the wrong way. Today, I want to show you a different path, a simpler path, a more natural path. Step by step, you will learn how to train your speaking in a way that feels real, calm, and possible, not through pressure, not through perfection, but through small daily actions that slowly build confidence. And if you truly follow these ideas, speaking English will stop feeling scary. It will start feeling natural. The first thing you must understand is this. You do not need perfect English before you start speaking. This is where many learners get stuck. They wait for the perfect grammar. They wait for better pronunciation. They wait until they feel ready. But that moment never comes, because confidence is not something you receive before action. Confidence is something you build through action. Imagine a person who wants to learn how to ride a bicycle. If they only read books about bicycles but never actually ride one, will they improve? Of course not. Speaking English works the same way. You improve by speaking, not by waiting. And this is why small sentences are so powerful. When you try to speak long and complicated ideas too early, your brain becomes stressed. You overthink every word. You become nervous. But simple sentences help your mind stay calm. A learner named Emma understood English very well. She listened every day and watched many English videos, but she almost never spoke because she believed her English was not good enough. Then one day, her teacher gave her a very small challenge. Say one sentence. Emma felt uncomfortable, but she tried. I am learning English. That was all. The sentence was simple, but it changed something inside her. The next day, she spoke again, then again. Slowly, silence stopped controlling her. And that is how real progress begins, not with perfection, with courage. So start with simple sentences. I feel happy. I am tired. I want to improve. Speak them out loud every day. Your mouth needs practice just as much as your brain does. And remember this carefully. Mistakes are not signs of failure. Mistakes are signs that you are learning. Now, let's move to another important truth. Many learners study English every single day, but they still cannot speak naturally. Why? Because they train their mind, but they never train their mouth. They listen, they read, they understand, but speaking is also a physical skill. Your lips, your tongue, and your voice all need regular practice. Think about sports. You cannot become good at football only by watching matches. You must move your body and practice repeatedly. English speaking is exactly the same. There was a student named Liam who understood almost everything in English videos. But one day someone asked him a simple question. What are you doing? He understood immediately, but he could not answer. His mouth froze. That moment frustrated him deeply. He realized he had knowledge, but no speaking habit. So he made one simple change. Every day, he spoke to himself in English for a few minutes. I am drinking water. I am studying now. I am opening the window. At first, it felt strange, maybe even embarrassing, but he continued anyway. And after some weeks, something surprising happened. His answers became faster. His fear became smaller. Speaking no longer felt completely foreign to him. That is because fluency grows through repetition. You do not need hours of practice every day. Even 10 or 15 minutes can create change if you stay consistent. Another important habit is learning to think in English. This step changes everything. Many learners translate every sentence from their native language into English before speaking. This slows the brain down and creates hesitation. A learner named Sophia struggled with this problem for a long time. Before speaking, she translated every idea in her head. Simple conversations felt exhausting. Then she tried something new. Instead of translating, she started thinking in very small English thoughts during the day. This is my bag. I am hungry. The weather is nice. Simple thoughts, simple observations. At first, it felt difficult. Her brain wanted to return to her native language again and again, but slowly English started becoming more natural inside her. And once that happened, her speaking became smoother too. You can practice this very easily. While walking, describe what you see. While eating, describe what you're doing. Ask yourself simple questions in English. What am I doing now? What will I do later? Do not worry too much about grammar in the beginning. The goal is to create a direct connection between your thoughts and English. And that connection becomes stronger every day you practice. Another powerful method is listening and copying. Many learners listen to English, but they only focus on understanding the meaning. They forget to notice the sound, rhythm, and pronunciation. But natural speaking comes from hearing natural speaking again and again. A student named Oliver practiced English daily, yet people still struggled to understand him clearly. He felt confused because he already knew many words. Then he discovered something important. He was speaking English with the rhythm of his native language. So he began copying native speakers carefully. He listened to short sentences, paused the audio, and repeated the sentence exactly the same way. Same pronunciation, same rhythm, same tone. At first, it felt slow and difficult, but gradually his pronunciation became clearer and more natural, and people started understanding him more easily. This is why listening and repeating together is so powerful. Choose short audio clips, listen carefully, pause, repeat. Do not rush. Train your ears, and your voice will slowly follow. And finally, remember this. Fluency is not built in one big moment. It is built quietly, little by little, through daily habits. The people who improve the fastest are not always the smartest. Usually, they are simply the most consistent. Even small daily practice creates huge long-term change. So stop waiting for the perfect time. Speak today. Think in English today. Practice today. Because every small step you take is moving you closer to the version of yourself who speaks English confidently and naturally. One of the biggest secrets to speaking English more naturally is this: stop learning only single words. Many learners spend months memorizing vocabulary lists. They learn hundreds of words, but when it is time to speak, they still pause again and again. Why does this happen? Because real conversations are not built word by word. They are built in phrases. Fluent speakers do not stop to create every sentence from zero. Their brain already remembers common groups of words together. For example, instead of learning only the word busy, learn the full phrase, I'm a little busy right now. Instead of only learning hungry, learn I'm getting hungry. These complete phrases help your brain speak faster and more naturally. A learner named Ava had a very large vocabulary. She knew many English words, but her sentences often sounded broken. She would say things like, I go store now, or I want food. People understood her meaning, but her speaking did not sound smooth. Then she changed her learning method. Instead of collecting random words, she started practicing full everyday phrases. I'm going to the store. I want to eat something. I'll do it later. At first, it felt like simple memorization, but after repeating these phrases many times, something changed. Her brain stopped building every sentence slowly. The phrases started coming automatically. And that is exactly how fluency feels like. Not perfect grammar all the time, just smoother and more automatic speaking. This is why useful phrases are more powerful than difficult vocabulary. Simple English used naturally is much more valuable than complicated English used poorly. So begin collecting phrases from daily life. Write them down, repeat them aloud, use them during real situations, and slowly your speaking speed will improve without forcing it. Now let's talk about something even more important than talent, intelligence, or motivation: consistency. Many people start learning English feeling excited and full of energy. For a few days, they practice a lot, maybe even for hours. Then life becomes busy. They skip one day, then another day, then 1 week passes, and slowly everything becomes difficult again. This is one of the biggest reasons learners stop improving, not because they cannot learn, because they stop continuing. There was a learner named Ethan who practiced English in a very extreme way. One day he studied for 2 hours, then he felt tired and stopped practicing for several days. After 1 month, he felt disappointed because his speaking still had not improved much. Then he realized something important. Big effort is not the same as steady effort. So he created a much simpler plan: only 20 minutes every day. No pressure, no impossible goals, just daily connection with English. At first, 20 minutes felt too small to matter, but after some weeks, he noticed he remembered words more easily. Speaking felt smoother, listening became easier too. Not because he practiced perfectly, because he practiced consistently. And this is exactly how fluency grows, little by little, day by day. Even 5 or 10 minutes matters if you do it regularly. The goal is not to study English once in a while. The goal is to make English part of your normal life. Another thing you must learn is how to speak without fear. Fear is one of the strongest walls between learners and fluency. Many people already know enough English to communicate, but they stay silent because they are afraid of mistakes, afraid of embarrassment, afraid of judgment, afraid that someone will laugh at them. But here's the truth. Every fluent speaker once made mistakes too. Every single one. A student named Chloe understood English very well, but she almost never spoke in front of others. One day, during a small discussion, she knew the answer to a question. The words were inside her mind, ready to come out, but fear stopped her. Her heart started beating fast. She thought, "What if I say it wrong?" So she stayed silent. After the conversation ended, she felt regret immediately, not because she made a mistake, but because she never even tried. The next day, she promised herself something simple: "I'll speak next time." And when another opportunity came, she did. Her sentence was not perfect. She made a few mistakes, but something surprising happened. Nobody laughed. Nobody became angry. People simply listened and understood her. That small moment changed her completely, because she realized communication is more important than perfection. And every time she spoke after that, her fear became smaller. This is how confidence is built, not by waiting, by acting. The more you speak, the more normal speaking becomes. So if fear appears, do not run away from it. Speak anyway. Even short answers matter. Even imperfect sentences matter. Silence keeps fear alive. Action slowly destroys it. And remember something very important. You do not need to sound like a perfect native speaker to communicate successfully. Your goal is connection. Your goal is expression. Your goal is progress. Now let's discuss one final habit that can completely transform your English. using English in real life. Many learners only practice in private. They speak in front of mirrors. They repeat sentences alone. And while this is useful, it is not enough by itself. Real growth happens when English becomes part of your daily world. A learner named Noah practiced speaking every day at home. Alone, he felt confident, but when a real person suddenly asked him a question in English, his mind became blank. That experience shocked him. He realized practicing alone and using English in real conversations were two different skills. So he started using English in small daily situations. He ordered food in English. He greeted people in English. He asked small questions. At first, these moments felt uncomfortable, but slowly real conversations stopped feeling scary, and his fluency improved much faster. Because real communication trains your brain differently. In real conversations, you must react naturally. You must listen, think, and respond at the same time. That's where true confidence grows. So do not wait for some perfect moment to start using English. Use it in small ways every day. One sentence matters. One conversation matters. Every real interaction is helping your brain become stronger and faster in English. Now, let's talk about vocabulary in a smarter and more natural way. Many learners believe they need thousands of difficult words to speak fluent English, so they spend hours memorizing long vocabulary lists. They try to learn rare expressions and advanced words that they almost never use in real life. But after some time, most of those words disappear from memory. And during conversations, they still struggle to express simple ideas. Why? Because fluency does not come from knowing the most words. It comes from knowing the right words and using them often. A learner named Mia once tried to improve her English by learning 20 or 30 new words every single day. At first, she felt productive and motivated, but after a few weeks, she realized something frustrating. She could not remember most of the words. And even worse, she still stopped during conversations because the vocabulary did not feel natural to her. Then she changed her approach completely. Instead of studying random difficult words, she started learning useful words connected to her daily life. Words like comfortable, excited, busy, tired. And instead of only memorizing them, she used them again and again in simple sentences. I feel tired today. I'm very busy right now. I'm excited about tomorrow. Slowly, these words became part of her natural speaking. She no longer needed to stop and search for them. That is the secret. Words become fluent only when you use them repeatedly in real situations. So do not overload yourself with huge vocabulary lists. Focus on useful words you can actually use every day. And always learn vocabulary inside sentences, not alone. For example, instead of learning only the word hungry, learn I'm getting hungry. Your brain remembers language much better when it is connected to meaning and emotion. Another helpful habit is creating your own small vocabulary notebook. Every day, write 5 useful words or phrases, then create simple sentences with them. Speak them aloud several times. This small habit can improve your English much more than trying to memorize hundreds of difficult words at once. Now, there's one final lesson that many learners forget after they start improving. Never stop practicing. English is not something you finish forever, like completing a school exam. It's a skill, and every skill becomes stronger when you continue using it. There was a learner named Lucas who worked very hard to improve his English. For months, he practiced daily. He listened carefully, spoke regularly, and slowly became more confident. Then, one day, he thought, "My English is already good enough." So he stopped practicing. At first, nothing seemed different, but after some weeks, he noticed he was forgetting words. Speaking became slower. His confidence became weaker again. That experience taught him something important. Fluency is not a destination. It is a lifestyle. So instead of treating English like homework, he started making it part of his normal life. He listened to English while walking. He thought in English during the day. He watched short videos in English regularly. No pressure, no stress, just continuous connection. And over time, his fluency became stronger than before because English stopped feeling like a study subject. It became part of who he was. This is exactly the mindset you need. Do not ask yourself, when will I finish learning English? Instead, ask, how can I keep English in my daily life? Because the learners who continue practicing, even in small ways, are the ones who become naturally fluent over time. And before this video ends, I want you to stop for a moment and think honestly about your own journey. How many times did you want to speak English but stayed silent? How many times did fear stop you? How many times did you believe you were not good enough yet? Now you understand something powerful. You do not need perfect grammar to begin. You do not need a huge vocabulary. You do not need to sound perfect. You only need one thing: consistency. Small daily effort can completely change your English over time. One sentence today, one conversation tomorrow, one small improvement after another. That is how fluency is built. So starting today, stop waiting for the perfect moment. Speak even if your voice shakes. Practice even if you make mistakes. Keep going even when progress feels slow. Because every fluent English speaker was once a beginner who decided not to quit. And if you continue showing up every day, your English will improve too. Thank you for spending this time learning with me today. I hope this video reminded you that fluency is possible for anyone who keeps practicing patiently and consistently. Take care of yourself. Keep speaking, keep listening, and keep believing in your progress. I'll see you again in the next video.